I mentioned, this is the reason why. But before we begin, please like and subscribe since we're less than 3,000 to start with the first type. Okay, this is probably not the most appropriate name for this type, but I don't know what else to call it, so this is just the name I'm going with. Basically, these are just skits, shorts of Pitchboys doing random things. Some channels in the category include Dabbler Studio and Anime Wars. Basically, just a bunch of childish scenarios of Pitchboys doing stuff, and mostly involving kid-like scenarios, thus why they're called skits. However, there's nothing really else too special about these channels, so we'll just move on to the next type. This is called the Fast style because all the channels that do this are all owned by Fast. Yeah, between last time I talked about Fast and now, I actually found out that Staples and all the channels were owned by Fast based on source I was seeing. And knowing that information, that does explain a lot about these channels and how they operate. So with that being said, let's go over the characteristics of these channels. Channels in this category include Staples, Spaceballs, and Miss Tide. Now, I'm aware that a lot of country human channels also do this style of content. However, there's also a large portion of country channels that do this style as well. So I'll be including it. Also, I really don't think there's anything wrong with including country human channels in this video as well, especially if you have similar videos country was. Well, it's time for the third type. So this style is super successful for some reason. As many of the channels that do this style have millions of subscribers. Some of the channels in this category include Mystical Bee, Captain Earth, and Big Ball. Yeah, remember when I made a video on them back in the summer? Yeah, I really don't know what happened to them. Now, what they are is kind of in the name because these channels are just Country stickers with an AI voice, with the most distinct feature being the background footage, which is just Minecraft parkour footage, which is something not unique to the Country community, but many Country channels use this style, so I am going to include it. Usually the Country are just talking about random stuff or saying just facts about countries, and sometimes it can be kind of repetitive. There's also the only one where Italian Braymon is featured heavily, which in my opinion is not good. Well, time for the fourth type. This style was inspired by the terrible short that Lankybox used to make a few years back called the Lankybox style. Now, only one big channel fits into this category, that being Country Balloons Animations. These shorts consist of Country Balloons having sort of issue and need to be saved either by liking or subscribing to the short. Just Braymon short stuff that you'll usually expect. Also, they would have random background music and sound effects, which, yeah, we'll talk about them later. And now it's time to talk about the last type. This last one is self-explanatory. As a channel in this category are just people who use AI to make their videos. Some channels include Lucid Layers and Country from Java. The shorts are literally just AI, that's it. And if you've seen AI videos, you know what they look like. Now, this is actually the newest of the bad Country types, as this category is really only started picking up about a year ago, as well as the fact that many of these channels are really small compared to the other four types due to how new it is. So it's unknown what impact they have on the Country community. So they have in the Country community. So now that we got the types out of the way, it's time to rank them from bad to worst, starting with number 5. 10,000! This is the least offensive of the content types, as these videos aren't very too bad. Sometimes these videos tend to use popular music or just random noises, especially when they're talking. They also use AI voices, which can make the videos come off as lazy. However, this is the only type on the list where all channels that use this style are not bad. I'm not saying all, because the worst you'll find is when the content involves Italian Braymon, which makes the videos really bad and cringe. Also, it is one more negative I want to mention is that these videos are super repetitive even without the Italian Braymon, since characters basically just talk about the same topics over and over again using the same format, which is pretty lazily done. And not just that, but also the style that these channels use are pretty similar to other channels, so it's really difficult to distinguish which channel is which. So yeah, despite all I said, this was actually the best country type to be talking about in today's video. So let's move on to number 4.
Regular gummy bear.
So we're going from something that's just mediocre to something that's just bad. This gets you definitely most childish of the types on this list, from the cringe sound effects to the bad animation to the country just making baby noises. These shorts are just not good. Also, the country designs are just bad. Like, I don't know why they look like eggs with these random faces. Not just that, but the background objects also was because of just stock images they probably just put in, which don't match the style they're making, so it makes it look like an eyesore when watching these videos. And same with the liquid items, it's just random blobs. It looks so out of place, like it's so lazy. Another issue is the way they treat things like wars and conflicts is super disrespectful. Treating them like childish arguments in cringe ways while causing a whole wave of comments saying Team Country like this is a sports game. Yet despite everything I said, this is sort of the second best country type I'm going to be talking about. So let's move on to number 3. Lankybox is reacting to a doorman video with like. This style is just pure Braymon, like actually Braymon. The sound effects are bad, and the music choice they have is just awful. Like, why do they sound like this? And look, it looks just so lazily made on like Google Slides. Also, country usually play with other IPs, which is just PNGs, which once again look like an eyesore. Yeah, a lot of the problems in terms of the visual aspects of the same as the previous type. However, this is ranked low because it's pretty obvious that this content is more aimed for childish audiences, while also having less substance in the skit shorts. It's also the fact that this has literally nothing to do with Country as a whole. Like, especially the skit channels are, at least they show some aspects of Country Wars, even though the way they do it is super disrespectful. Now, this.
Welcome to the stream.
Five-Minute Crafts is a YouTube channel that uploads a series of 10-minute long craft videos. Now, there's a number of ways that an individual can master artistry and creativity. Study at a university, maybe, research the grace of a specific craft, or trek out to the Shaolin Monastery in the hills of China, where they will sit you down, put you into a meditative state, and feed various 5-minute craft videos into your hippocampus until you reach maximum creative.